Jamie Jackson,
Here.
Matthew Lehane,
Here.
Paul Agnello,
He may be online.
Yeah.
Andy Garbarini, Bassam Amin, Brian Council, Kathy Poppy, Chris Clark, Daniel Koenig, Kate Gibson, Leon Hughes, Cassie Lord, Melody Fowler,
Here.
Philip Perella,
Here.
Rodney White,
Here.
Stephen Minor, Will Montgomery,
Here.
Josh Crump,
Here online.
Lee Anderson, Kyle Guzman,
Here.
Adam Garrett,
Here online.
and here we have a quorum.
All right, great. Here. All right, so we'll start off with the approval of the agenda. So can I get a motion for approval of the agenda?
Motion approved.
All right, can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion or changes? All right, all those in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the next item is item number 4, public comment. Comments and questions from members of the public are welcome at this time. Staff will also read comments submitted by the public prior to the meeting. Do we have any public comment today? Yes, all right, come on up.
Thank you. I'm Watkins, I live in the George Washington District of Stafford. I'd like to speak about item 6D, which relates to the river crossing draft of the 747 pages of it. I'd like to note a few different things. There are 184 pages of the survey responses from the public or comments and emails made at the 2 public meetings, which gives credence to thoughts and ideas general public. There are also 89 pages reporting from print and online news sources. However, I'd also like to note that the information contained within the presentations in the Citizens Transportation Advisory Committee and the information contained in several presentations made directly to the policy board are not included. And in addition, I am still hoping that in addition to the report, that there's going to be a detailed sketch and cost estimate consultants, which will be made known, especially since there are actually ultimately over 3 different option Cs presented with very different routes and circumstances, not just the older cost estimates that were included on page 658.
All right, thank you so much for the comment. Definitely appreciate it. Yep, Nick is over there stealing seats, but that's okay. Didn't notice them.
That's what I get coming back.
Right. All right, so we are gonna go over to the consent agenda since the public, Leslie, do we have any public comments online? Okay. All right, so the public comment period is now closed. Item number 5 is the consent agenda, which includes the minutes. We'll start with the minutes. Can I get approval of the minutes, please? All right, and can I get a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next item is endorsement of resolution 2632, which is also on the consent agenda. Can I get a motion for approval?
Motion for approval.
All right, and can I get a second?
Second.
All right, thank you. Any discussion? All right, and this, go ahead.
Just for new folks who are not haven't been for years on this TAC, Fampo staff, of which there are quite a number of us in the room, are not allowed to make motions or seconds or vote on anything. So just remember, those of you who are the actual voting members, it's only you who can do that. None of us can do that. That's why we sit here quietly, because we don't get a vote.
So item B, which is resolution 26-32. All those in favor, please state by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we are going to go on to item number 6, which starts with the Long Bridge service modifications.
Chair, thank you. We just want to introduce DJ Stadler, who is the head of the Virginia Passenger Rail Authority, and he doesn't make big announcements of this, but if I have it correct, DJ is the former National Chief Operations Officer of Amtrak. Am I right?
That is a true statement. Yeah.
There you go. So this guy ran all of Amtrak and now he's running our local Virginia Passenger Rail Authority. And he wants to give us an update, and we put him first on the agenda because he may not need to stay through all of the rest of the local stuff that we get onto. I know he's a busy man, but thank you so much for coming in person. And we've got BRE in the room as well because their rail service is impacted by all this new growth. So thanks, DJ, for coming all the way.
No, my pleasure. Happy to be here. And Ian warned me that after I was done, there'd be a lot of arguing. So
We don't want you to see what happens, so.
thank you, Ian, for that introduction. I did work in Amtrak for a long time, but I'm at the Virginia Passenger Rail Authority. My name is DJ Statler. For those of you that don't know the Virginia Passenger Rail Authority, we were created in 2020, and our mission is to enhance, sustain, and really grow the rail here in Virginia. I've been the executive director since day one, been there 4.5 years. And for the first 4 years and 3 months, people were always excited to see me. Oh, you're running VPRA. You're going to be adding trains. By 2030, we're going to go from 8 trains to 13 trains. That was always great, exciting news. Last couple of months, it's been, oh, you're the guy that's making my train schedule change. Oh, I've been commuting to the same place for 20 years in the same seat. Not as popular as I used to be, but I'm here today to talk to you about why we're making these changes. This is what VPRA does. I'm going to go through this quickly. I think you're all aware of the traffic. Anybody seen that picture before? Yeah, probably. So this is the long bridge. We were created to deliver capital projects all around the Commonwealth, but the most important one, the one that unlocks all of this additional frequency, all of these additional frequencies that we are looking to put in place is the long bridge.
He's just gonna mute the microphones.
Okay. And that ends my presentation.
Thanks, sir.
So this is the Long Bridge. There we go. I talked earlier about we've got projects all around the Commonwealth. What we did is Virginia gave us the authority to purchase right of way. Those of you that know anything about passenger rail know that the biggest reason that passenger rail is not reliable in the United States, when it's not reliable, is because of freight train interference. Unlike a lot of places in Europe and Asia that have dedicated passenger track, we for the most part have shared tracks. So when our trains want to go 79 miles an hour faster, we frequently run into a freight train that wants to go 35 miles an hour. And those two, when the schedules are well choreographed and everything's going well, it's challenging. When there's a problem, whether it's a mechanical problem, it becomes unwieldy. So what we are doing is we are purchasing track that will be dedicated passenger right of way. So our passenger trains, be them the Amtrak long distance, BRE, Amtrak state supported, they will have their own track. Freight trains won't get in the way. So Long Bridge is the big one. We talked about that. We've got a bunch of other projects going on. I'm going to go through them incredibly quickly. Ian told me I only had 10 minutes and I'm not going to hit that time. I apologize. But I just want to show you there's work underway. We've got construction that's taking place. Long Bridge North, you see that we've got teams out. We're adding a 4th track. There won't be a test on this, so don't. I'm just proud of the progress and sharing good news before I punch you in the gut and say, here, the schedule changes that take place. Here's work taking place again on Long Bridge North. This is right underneath the portals building where we are fortifying the crash walls, so making it so we can have 4 trains going through there at any given time at higher speeds. Or work's ongoing. Long Bridge South, you see construction picture. We've got barges on the river. We've got cranes there that are doing the pile driving to test for loads. There's gonna be a lot of noise there. Franconia Springfield bypass. So in Franconia, and I promise you, I did not design this. This was designed 60 years ago. Passenger rail everywhere from Washington to Springfield. You'll notice that the stations, the platforms for the stations are on the west side of the track. So go down and you get off the station. It's great. But south of Franconia, the platforms are on the east side of the track. So somehow, right after Springfield, we've got to take a left turn as we're going south and get to the other side. We work with CSX, and what we're doing is we're building a bypass so the passenger trains go up and over the freight trains. So that bypass is being built in Springfield, making good progress on that as well. You see, we're starting the tree clearing and getting a lot of the early work stuff going on there. So that's all the fun stuff. Hooray, we're making great progress. I'm here to talk about the construction windows and how service is going to change over the next 4 years as we build Long Bridge. As I said earlier, Long Bridge is the choke point. The 98% of the time it's at peak, you can't add any more. I said that backwards. During the peak time, so during the day, 98% of the capacity on Long Bridge is taken up. This is the entire project. We talk about Long Bridge. A lot of people think, oh, it's just the bridge over the river. It is, but it's so much more. If you start at the Aquatic Center in Arlington, you come across the river, this is the existing bridge. This is the 395, the 14th Street Bridge. And then this is the new bridge we're building and a new pedestrian bike bridge. This one's actually the easy part. Don't tell the construction folks I said that, but this one's really easy because they're separate structures on the river, no problem. Here, as you get to the District of Columbia on the north side of the river, you see the bridges come together, cross over Ohio Drive, cross over Main Avenue, it's 395, cross over Washington Channel, Main Avenue, come here by the Salamander Hotel, and then this connects to LaFont Plaza. So this whole project is what we continue to talk about with Long Bridge. Here's another look of it. Again, existing bridge, Metro Bridge, Highway Bridge. We're building the new structure right between the existing bridge and the Metro Bridge. And as it comes up closer, you see the Metro Bridge goes into the tunnel, and we will continue to build all along here, all up. As you can see with the highway, there's not a ton of room there. It's really an unforgiving construction project. Last view, this is what it looks like when it's new. You're going to have close to up here, all 4 tracks on the same bridge. You'll have 2 freight tracks, 2 passenger tracks. So you'll always have a northbound, always have a southbound. But this is the construction challenge that we have. Ask me, DJ, what could make this more challenging? What could make this more challenging is the fact that we only can work in the district from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So the time of the day where we have the most trains is the only time that we can do work. Thankfully, there aren't a whole lot of trains on Sundays, so we can get a lot of work done then. Oh no, EC doesn't let you work at all on Sundays. So we are to Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. in this incredibly congested area. Here are the trains that go through Alexandria, from Alexandria to Font Plaza on any given weekday from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Again, we can work from here, well, there's the window. Work from here to here. So all of these trains go through that area during the only time that we can do work. The challenge is, how can we get this bridge done and impact as few of these trains as possible? Well, so the color-coded long distance regional, Erie, Fredericksburg, Erie, Manassas, and then freight trains. We want to impact as few riders as possible. And spoiler alert, the Erie trains have about 3.5 times as many riders as the Amtrak trains do, because people, if you impact somebody on any one of these Erie trains, by default, you're going to impact them on this one because they're not going to find another way in and then take the train home. So you're taking them off on both sides. So what we did is we looked for a window during that time where we could stop trains or keep trains out. We did in the beginning of this whole process, we looked at maybe shutting down the railroads for 4 days at a time, a bunch of times throughout the process. CSX thought about that, but after a while they said it just doesn't work. They can't go 4 days without service. As I said earlier, the Long Bridge is really the connection from north to south. If Long Bridge isn't there, they've got to go all the way around to Harper's Ferry, and it's just not something they were willing. So here's the window that we decided on. We originally talked about maybe doing a morning window and an afternoon window, so letting trains go through in the middle. Challenge there is the construction team will set up, work for a couple hours, then have to break down, set up again, break down again. So we thought 1 5-hour window made the most sense. All of these conversations take place with Erie, Amtrak, CSX. As you can see, if we work during that window, we've got a bunch of northbound trains. These are the northbound trains, these are the southbound trains. But we've got to move. So here's the solution that we're currently looking at. Continue to negotiate. None of this is final, but the construction team is going to finish their early work and they're going to start construction in earnest where they've got to foul the track. So they've got to be on track in January. So we've got to make decisions for the next couple of weeks. This is going to be final. Here's the way it works. Got a bunch of trains that move earlier. You've got 4 northbound trains, 2 Manassas, 2 Fredericksburg. that will stop at Alexandria. So those trains will stop at Alexandria. Folks will have to get off. These are the later trains. So if you're on a train now that gets through Alexandria by 8:15 in the morning, your train, you'll see no impact. These later trains are going to stop in Alexandria. The trains will then let people off and then shove back, go backwards to Seminary Yard. Folks have to get on the metro to go where they want to go. Not ideal, but it allows us to have this window. We've moved the Newport News train forward. We've got a couple trains from Newport News and Hampton Roads. One train is being replaced with a bus, and then we're adding a second bus that is going to go up there from Hampton Roads up to DC. And then we've got a bunch of trains that move to the right. So there's a lot. Let me just go through again. The trains that were there, and the trains move. We have got to make sure that we get that window back for the construction team, that they give it back by 1 o'clock, because Amtrak has shown us through modeling that all of the trains that come south off the Northeast Corridor, they're going to bunch up in Union Station, and we've got to basically let the dam open and let everything go through starting at 1 o'clock. So it's cleared up for this afternoon Erie rush. And then in the afternoon, we've got these trains will be starting from Alexandria. So those are the schedule changes we're looking at now. Saturday service, it's a similar story, but the Erie trains aren't in there. The good news is that part of this agreement with Amtrak is they're going to open up the step-up service again. So in addition to the Erie trains, if you have a Erie multi-day ticket, you'll be able to get any one of these Amtrak trains, even on the weekend. Which is good news. But here are the changes that take place. Similar, we'll move the long distance trains a little bit later. CSX trains move forward, and we'll still have buses from. See, somebody said it. I'm waiting for that. The last 3 months of my job have been very different than the first one. So here's what we have now. Here are the trains. We've got the 2 that go to Roanoke. One of these is becoming earlier. And then the trains that take place now, 3 go to Norfolk, 2 go to Newport News. Starting in January, here's how it's going to look. We'll have, instead of 3 trains to Norfolk, we'll have 2. We'll have the same 2 trains to Newport News, but we're going to add a bus, and then we'll add a second bus. So we'll have what used to be 5 trains is now going to be 4 trains and 2 buses. And the buses you see go forward. And then I said January, but this extension New River Valley doesn't start until 2027, but it'll be there during the construction phase. As soon as we finish Long Bridge, which will be early in 2030, late in 20, but early in 2030, all these trains will come back. Train of Richmond will be there. And then once we finish all of the phase 1 and 2 projects, which again will be late 2030, then we'll get the Nirvana, which is your 13 round trips a day. Night service on Erie, weekend service on Erie, and it's similar to when you're driving on the highway and it's a huge construction project, a lane's closed, you pull your hair out, trust me, I know. But when it's done, it's going to be a much better situation and more transportation option. So that was 40 minutes of information in about 12 minutes, 2 minutes longer than expected, but still pretty close.
Yeah, good.
Any questions? I know there are concerns, but let's start with questions.
If there weren't those limitations on when you're allowed to do the construction, how long do you think it would take?
So the construction would be done slightly quicker. I mean, so the limitations actually, if we talked about Franklin and Springfield bypass very quickly.
Mhm.
There are no time limitations there, so we can work all night long. Bypass especially, because there are a whole lot of neighborhoods there. So if we could work 12-hour shifts instead of 8, it would be done much quicker. I don't have the numbers or dollars. We've been asked to pull those together, and happy to comment privately because this would be recorded. But I think that if that number gets too big, I think people are going to say, well, let's go to the district then and let's see if we can weigh that. We've looked at a lot of projects in the district, rarely if ever waives these restrictions. And when they do it on a 30-day cycle. So they'll waive them for 30 days. And at the end of the 30 days, they'll say, hey, has anybody from the public complained? And if somebody complains, well, then we're not going to keep that waiver in place. And the construction team said, we can't count on that. And look, to be fair, it's loud and there's vibration. And as you saw in the picture earlier, a lot of this work is being done right next to the Salamander Hotel, right into a lot of residential locations, townhouses. People, I wouldn't love that either. But to answer your question very directly, it would be done quicker if we could do more than 5 hours. a day. Let me just add one caveat to that, because I know people are asking this. 5 hours of work is just fouling the track. The construction team will be out there for 8, 9, 10 hours a day, but they have to plan their work. So any work that requires them to not have trains come through, they've got to do that work during the 5 hours. The rest of the day, they can do other work, but they can't. They'll still be in a situation where a flagger is going to say, train's coming, step away, and then come back. This 5 hours is just when heavy equipment is going to be on the track, when things that can't be moved off the track will take place. So glad you asked that question.
Oh, my other question was about the Union Station, improvement to the tracks. Is this related to that at all?
It's related to that in that we've partnered with Amtrak, and they have said that because we are having this window where no trains are going to be going through those south tunnels to Union Station. They have a lot of ventilation work that has to be done there. They've got a lot of switch work that has started and will continue. They are looking to also use these windows to optimize some of the capital improvements that they need to make at the same time. They are not, their schedule's not been finalized, or at least not shared with us, but that work needs to be done as well to make our trains as efficient.
DJ, it seems that there's a trade-off. So even if DC gives you a longer window, if you work in that longer window, you're shutting trains down, potentially. So initially I thought that might be a very helpful solution, but unless you go late at night, maybe that could work late at night, I guess. But during the day, I'm not sure we really want to shut down the trains for commuters even more than what this will do. But I guess I wasn't thinking about the night shift. You could have a night shift if they waive it.
If they waive it, but again, historically, they've not waived it. Additionally, we've looked at, and this is your question, we've looked at, okay, 5 hours. We had to really negotiate strongly with our partners at Amtrak, TSX, to get this 5 hours. And they said, well, how about if we did 3 hours, how about 2 hours? Well, if it was only a 2 hour window, you take a half hour to set up, you get an hour work, and then you take a half hour to sit down. That would make the bridge completion date go from 2030 to 2033 to 2034. I mean, depending on the size of that window. If we did an 8 hour window, you could get it done quicker, but then you'd be in a situation where 2030 comes and you cut the ribbon on Long Bridge, and everybody who loves the train, the great ridership, we've had record ridership month after month, those folks will be so ingrained in their new transportation option, we won't have folks on the train. It'll take us a long time. So we felt that the 5 hour window was the sweet spot. You're still hitting a lot of folks, but most of the VRE trains will be gone ahead of time. Folks can move their schedule a little earlier. Getting off in Alexandria it's going to be an impact for some, but when you get off at LaFont, off of the train, a lot of folks get on the metro anyway and go to the Farragut North or go to other places. So it's going to be an adjustment. I said this earlier, and I kind of said it tongue in cheek, but I rode VRE for 2 decades plus. And when I got on that 5:05 train right there in the morning, if someone was sitting in my seat, I'd be like, what are you doing? That's my seat. I sit in that seat every day. So I mean, commuters are really creatures of habit. We just need to show folks that for 4 years, you're going to have to modify that habit temporarily with the knowledge that in 2030, it'll be a brand new, much better situation. You'll have many more options to come south when you want, when you want. Finally go to a Nationals game and take the train home, because right now the last train leaves at 7 p.m. going south. So it's a little bit of a great game in 2030. And I get the fact that if you go around the table, some people a little bit of pain, somebody else has a lot of pain. It's going to be an adjustment for folks, and we get that. And what we're trying to do is just be as transparent as possible. This starts in January. We've had our communication has started and will continue. We've got town hall, 500 some odd people on Friday that we're going to talk about this in a little more detail. So we know it's not great, but we also know that it's something that needs to get done to get where we as a Commonwealth want.
People who are going to have the most difficult switch are those who go all the way to DC, to Union Station. Because if you switch to DC Metro, you can't get to Union Station without another train change. So that you've got a double switch. And historically, data shows that if you make one change, you lose some people. If you make two changes, you lose like 2/3 of the people. So the people who I think are going to feel it the most are those who go all the way into Union Station. The ones that get off at L'Enfant, there's probably an alternative with Metro that will work for them. Ones that go to Union Station, you got to get on the yellow or blue line, then you got to get on the red line, and those are the ones who are going to struggle.
Yeah, that's correct. If you are going to LaFont, your current 1-seat ride goes to a 2-seat ride, where you get off and you get on the yellow line and then you go to LaFont. If you're going to Union Station, your current 1-seat ride goes to a 3-seat ride, and that's a big change. Now, to address that, your current 1-seat ride, you could just leave 20 minutes earlier, and then you could have a 1-seat ride to Union Station. You just do 20 minutes earlier. Obviously, it's easy for me to say I'm not the one that's got to drop kids off the bus or that has other arrangements that can't be moved. I get that, but you're correct. The folks that go all the way to Union Station are going to be the ones that probably complain the loudest because they're 1-seat to 2-seat. Now, if you currently go get off of LaFont and take the Metro to Farragut West, you're going from a 2-seat ride to a 2-seat ride, and you might actually get to Farragut West faster. I know I'm cherry picking the data, but I mean, there are definitely winners and losers. That's a lousy way to put it. I dump that. There are people that are impacted very little and impacted very more. There are more people that are impacted more than this is positive. And we totally get it. Everybody is going to have a positive result 2030.
What time does that last VRE train leave Fredericksburg under this work?
7:46, I think.
I think the last VRE train leaves Fredericksburg 7:46. Here, he's here. Okay.
I have some numbers as well.
Oh yeah.
So of the Spotsylvania, Fredericksburg, Leland, and Brooks stations, so the whole Pampa region, you guys have about 2,000 AM riders. Of that, 17.5% are on trains 312 or 314, the two that are canceled.
No, not canceled.
Sorry, I didn't mean canceled. I meant
Mr. Francisco, you're
Sorry.
exactly right.
I
Yeah, that's about right.
terminated at Alexandria.
Yeah, just below 20%.
Yes, and of the ones that get off or at Alexandria. So basically, how many of them normally go to LaFont, Christmas?
How many of the 17% don't go?
12% of FAMPO riders are on trains 312 or 314 and go past Alexandria in the morning. And of that percent, 35 of them already take the Metro. So it's basically, it's around 7.8% of people that might have to make a change that they don't normally do. And again,
It's absolutely foreign to them. Yeah, that's.
yes. And that I didn't with the Union Station because obviously that is a lot. But majority, I mean, more than half be getting off at LaFont or Crystal City.
I've had the first call already.
I'm sure.
I just bought a house. I just bought a house right next to the Brook Station.
And look, none of us, we are all here to serve the public. And any of us that say, look, 93% of the people, he said it, 7% of the ones going to be impacted. 93% see very little change. That doesn't make a difference because 7% do see a change, and that's a problem.
And that's still around, it's still like 150 people in the morning.
Every day.
Coming from, yeah, on average, coming from this area.
I go,
Or on a peak day.
Yeah, and we get it, and look, we would rather this not be the case, but we think that those 150 people are going to be negatively impacted, and we're not happy about that at all. But that's really the smallest number of people that we can impact to get this done still by 2030. We can impact 15 people and get it done by 2035, but we don't have the extra couple $2 billion it would take to delay this. So it's a happy medium, but not having me in. It's
Quick question. It'll cost some money, but just think about it for a second. Is there any merit in putting a direct bus from the Alexandria Union Station, King Street Station, directly to Union Station? Not to L'Enfant, but just direct, so that the people who are most affected get a 2-seat ride instead of a 3-seat ride.
We've had a lot of people ask about that.
I'm assuming it's a smaller number, so probably one bus will do it. You don't have to have 5 buses.
Well, so you've got 2 trains, well, 2 trains, you've got 4 trains that are terminating in Alexandria. Do you do 4, 1 for each train? Because, you know, they're 12, 13 minutes apart.
Okay.
And if I'm getting off, I'm gonna get on that metro as opposed to waiting 14 minutes for a bus. Plus, the traffic there during rush hour in the morning, you quite frequent. I mean, we've got an office, VPRA is an office in Alexandria. And when I have meetings at FRA, I look at, okay, do I drive there? Do I take the metro? Depending on traffic, a lot of times it's much quicker to take the metro.
Yeah.
Additionally, we talked about how tight construction is for Long Bridge and how there's not a whole lot of space. At the same time, we are going to be constructing the King Commonwealth bridges, which are right there by King Street Station. And there's going to be a lot of construction turmoil there. So adding, I think, more vehicles to the area, you probably won't.
Are you going to make it harder for people to get on their feet walking from the King Street Station to the metro station, because they've got to walk right under that bridge that you want to demolish?
Right, but there will always be, I'm not concerned about pedestrian traffic. There will always be a clear path there. And it's a pretty easy.
I'd do the walk, I know.
Any other questions? Did we miss anything? All right, thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you.
Feel free to scoot out.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. All right, the next item we have is for Carrie. Smart Scale Round 7 update.
Good morning, folks. It's a brief update. So. The next one, please. All right, so all of you, thank you so much for sending me all of your study locations. This is, in red there, not the list of regional candidate projects. This is just your locations that you're currently studying for this round of Smart Scale. Please review and update any of these that might be outdated at this point. You changed your mind. Maybe there's new ones you're considering instead. Make sure that we have your correct list. These are going to be used in assessing eligibility for Smart Scale, for HPP, and producing a preliminary regional list, which will be our first round for the TAC subcommittee to discuss. So we're going to be bringing to you like basically a large list that's larger than 8, of course, and then we're going to be working down from there over the next few months. I hope all of you have gotten in touch with VDOT and worked out what your projects are going to be. Let me know, VDOT, if you need the Bob with anybody for you. Excellent. The other thing I need from you guys is we had to cancel our Smart Scale workshop that we had scheduled. We need to reschedule that as soon as possible. And
Yes, what under staff reports, the item is to pick a new date.
under staff reports, okay, so be thinking of that right now. This is our agenda for that meeting. We're gonna go over our round 7 timeline, our draft criteria for our regional list, and then that'll be the first step. And then we have another set of draft criteria later this winter. Speaking again about your project location and the topics for our next 2 workshops. We're gonna have our discussion because all of them must be plenty of a lot to talk about. And then our next step. There you go. Questions, comments. We're gonna be talking about this whole lot, as you all know, the next few months. We want really successful regions.
Under staff reports, that says discussion of next TAC meeting date, but we're also going to discuss the date for the subcommittee.
All right, any questions for Carrie? All right, thank you.
And thanks to everybody who's been communicating with Carrie and with VDOT. and we've decided that we would like Carrie to be the point of contact at the FAMPO staff on Smart Scale. So, you know, feel free to talk to all of us, but when you need to send any communication of importance on Smart Scale, please send it to Carrie. Reason for that is we don't want miscommunication to occur because you're talking to 5 people. It could get messy. If you speak to one person, then I know that one person needs to know what's going on. I don't know what VDOT's communication system is, but we really want to keep the communication tight this year. We don't want to have, you know, ask advice from all of us, but if you're saying, hey, this is what we're going to do, tell it to Carrie. If Carrie doesn't know, we'll reach out to you and say what's going on.
On the VDOT side, same kind of thing with Ashley, to make sure that even if you have a question or in the weeds design side that you want to talk to the design team, great, go ahead, send them an email, but make sure that Cass is copied on it.
Yeah.
And that way she's including all of that. That's it.
So yeah, so even if you email me, just CC Carrie so that Carrie knows what the heck you're doing, and then we don't have any balls dropped because the one side doesn't know what the other side's doing. We really need to keep that communication tight.
All right, next up, launching the LRTP 2055 process. Ian.
This is a quick one. You know, the TAC and the policy committee allocated some funding to help us with the LRTP and the congestion management process. So we just want to give you a little update. The staff have started work on the LRTP 2055, but we're doing the internal planning side of the process right now. Next slide. So we just want to ask this question: what is our overall vision? What is it that we want to achieve? Whoever took that photo took a great photo, I'll say. But what is our vision? What is the LRTP going to be this time around? And we want to get your input during these early stages. So thoughts that you have, we'd love to hear. Next slide. You know, VRE might have by 2055 some high-speed express trains. Who knows? Maybe we need to push the envelope and think a little bit, you know, further into the future. Next slide. That's just to get your creative juices flowing. So vision elements. What are the issues in the region we want to address? How could the region look if we implemented this plan, right? So that gives you if we implement this, what is it going to look like? And then you work backwards. Well, what is it that we want to implement? Should we have a name and a logo for this LRTP? A lot of MPOs pick a name that's more aspirational than LRTP 2055, right? FAMPO LRTP 2055, or even worse, FAMPO Long Range Transportation Plan 2055. By the time you finish the name, nobody wants to read the document. So maybe we think of a nice name. Do we want a glossy summary document? There in the 2035, I think, LRTP, FAMPO made a summary of the LRTP that is more accessible to folks who are not planners or engineers, who don't want to go and read 700 or 900 pages. And it's like a 20-page document that you can hand out. We think that's actually a neat idea, and maybe we want to do that this time around. You know, we can print a reasonable amount of copies that we're able to distribute. We just think that'll help make it more accessible to folks who can't dig into all that stuff that some folks like to dig into. Next slide. Okay, so what we started working on as a staff is to try and condense some of the LRTP. The last one was over 900 pages. But when I looked at it, 200 of those pages are other people's documents that were attached as appendices. So I'd like to throw those off. We don't actually need the whole Smart Scale technical guide to be part of our long range plan. We can just add a link, hyperlink it, and then people can find it and read it to their heart's content. So we'd like to condense it a little bit And the reason for that is we want a document that people will actually use, not something that we'll make one copy of, put on the shelf, and the only people who ever read it are VDOT when they need to check if we're sticking with our plan, right? That's just not a useful document. So what we've done is proposed this, and it's a work in progress. It's not by any means the final anything. We've cut the appendices down to 5 instead of, I don't know, a really big number of appendices. And then we've tried to merge some of these chapters with the relevant appendix and keep the total length of that chapter to less than the sum of the two, if you know what I mean. So if it was 50 pages and 50 pages, we'd like to do 60 pages of put both together so that it's focused and it doesn't end up being this 900-page document. So that's just a proposal. Feel free to email us your comments and suggestions. But we want to have a slightly more condensed, punchy long-range plan this time around. Next slide. What are our region's needs? This is the time to start thinking about what the needs are that we need to address in the long-range plan. Eugene is going to, with the permission of the policy committee, look at a survey of the public. So a really broad survey to ask the public what they need in the transportation system and what they think is broken and what they think we could do with more of. So we'll ask the public, but what do you all think? What things do you think we need to address? We'd like to hear from you. That is the US 1 bridge over the Rappahannock River, and people are cycling in the traffic. So that I just thought was a great picture of some needs that we have in the region. We want bike-ped people to be safe, and that's not that safe, trust me. All right. So there's just a rough timeline. In 2025, we're doing the preparation. So now's the time to tell us about any major changes you think we should bring about, because in this preparation phase, we can still make changes, we can structure this document and the process of creating the document. 2026, we're going to produce the document, right? So in 2026, we're going to be writing the chapters, we're going to be updating all the data, updating all the diagrams, maps, tables, charts. The one date that we've got fixed in concrete that we cannot miss, and that is that in December 2026, we need to approve by that date a new constrained long-range plan. For those of you who are new, the constrained long-range plan is one chapter. It's one part of one chapter in the long-range plan, which constrains fiscally, financially, the projects that we put for future development and construction in the region. It has to be fiscally constrained by federal law. So you have to have these, you have to have a list which is, here are our projects that we intend to construct between now and the year 2055. And you've got to give some indication of where you're going to get the money from. And that's what they mean by fiscally constrained. You've got to be reasonable about your predictions of how much money you will receive by 2055. And you've got to be reasonable about which projects you want to build. What we do with other projects that we think we need, that we haven't identified funding for, is we put them in a thing called the needs list. But that list, the constraint list, has to be approved by 2026 because there is a fiscal deadline. While we update the long-range transportation plan every 5 years, for some reason I can't explain, there is a requirement that the constrained long-range plan is updated every 4 years. I think it's 4 years. Anyway, it's a shorter period. So the deadline is 26 in December, and that we can't miss. That's a requirement. The whole plan we will review in the first few months of 2027. We'll put it out for public comment. We'll have all of you working on reviewing the chapters, giving us input, and we're looking at approval by around May, theoretically by April, but I've noticed that Fampo is always the first in the entire state to finish their plan. So, you know, other people overshoot the 5-year deadline by years sometimes, and nobody seems to complain. We hit it every time. So if we miss it by a month, I don't think anybody's going to complain because others are missing it by years. When we finished our approved 2050 LRTP, some other regions were only starting their 2050 LRTP. So we're streets ahead of everybody. So there's no rush. We have time. That's what the timeline will look like. Next slide. Okay, so we will reach out to you. As I said, we're going to do a public survey with the policy approval. We want to get your input on the constrained plan next year. And there are 2 phases. Those of you are with the state partners, we will be coming to you early in the new year to ask about the financial projections for the future to help us with the fiscal constraint. Then we will be talking to the jurisdictions and transit folks about the investments you're going to need to do in your county or city or transit operations that we need to put into the long range plan. And then we'll work on getting the constrained list plus the needs list worked out. So we're going to need your inputs, and we encourage you to start thinking about those. I think you're thinking about your projects anyway, because we're doing smart scale and we have to write a new tip in the same time period. So basically, we're just going to be asking you for projects, you know, and funding. So those 2 things will happen starting in January. We're not going to start before January with that. We're just doing the planning now to show you that we are actually working on it, but it's no big secret. Next slide. So thank you for your service. Let's make the travel better in the region, and hopefully you don't walk your dog in your car. Thanks, everybody. Happy to take your comments. I just wanted to let you know that we're starting work on this because you don't see what we do in the office when you're not here.
All right, does anybody have any questions for Ian outside of the dog's butt? in our face? All right, thanks for the presentation. All right, next item is endorsement of resolution 26-27, directing a public comment period for the draft Rappahannock River Crossing Parkway Alternative Study. Dr. Rado.
Good morning, everybody. Real quick, next slide. We're this close. We are getting to the final finish lines of hopefully closing out this river crossing study. But for the upcoming future, I want to update on everybody on the timeline moving forward. Next slide. So all the jurisdictions, VDOT should have the draft document and deliverables in their inboxes. Let me know if you have any issues or if you want to. I think we've supplied the full-size document version. So if you need the larger ones, we have that as well. So if you have any issues, feel free to reach out to me. We're looking for you to endorse this item to start opening up public comments so that can be opened up by the policy committee. So please have your comments by October 27th. That's a little bit over 30 days from you first. It gives some time for MVI to do that. And then we're going to be having our Thursday public comment period start on the 20th and a public hearing on the 17th of policy. And then hopefully we'll be able to adopt this project with the deliverables and changes that you all noted by the end of the year. So that's where we are in the process.
Anybody have any questions? Comment period. Just make sure that you're letting your electeds know that this is coming and it's a comment period, as opposed to. So, okay, thank you. All right.
Question. When will you guys make the sketch and process with productive policy manufacturing?
We're still waiting for jurisdictions things, so I haven't discussed that with Ed, but we're saying if y'all have any comments that we have to go back and revise with Michael Baker initially.
I know it's not public right now, but I would strongly encourage you to make it public when this goes out for public hearing.
The cost estimate, we can actually give you now, when you received it later than the document.
They have it.
I have it.
You have it?
It's been made available, yeah.
So the jurisdictions have it already, and VDOT.
Just to make sure that everyone understands what level this is and, what else. Have it prior to. application. I mean, so the folks that are maybe familiar with planning level estimates and all.
I guess just one recommendation, perhaps Bamboo and VDOT could work together, so that at policy committee, a list of items required to submit for smart scale could be available, so the policy committee knows there's still more work needed to get to smart scale. What that is, and there's several steps that needs to be done, can't just submit it as it's.
Sure. VDOT's reviewing the document now and the cost estimate and the drawing. The drawing is not as useful as you might think. Not that there's anything wrong with the drawing that Michael Baker has done. Because we are before NEPA, we are pre-NEPA. The drawing really serves as a function of enabling us to get funding to go further. But the thing that will get built won't be what's on the drawing. So that's the problem with this drawing. You put this drawing out, people get all worked up about it, and then you build something completely different because it's not been endorsed by NEPA. And in fact, even the corridor could change in NEPA. So we don't normally put out the drawings for the whole public at the early stages of this thing. We send it to the jurisdictions and we send it to VDOT and anybody else on the TAC who wants it. But if we send it out to the public, you stir up all sorts of emotions and you get a flood of stuff. And then there's going to be a whole different public comment period when we start NEPA. So there is that. We can do it, but then, you know, people are going to fight about things that will never get built. And that is just the unfortunate thing. The cost estimate is different. The cost estimate, it's going to be a large number. It's currently, John, correct me, I think it's about 290 million, 290 something. So we've sent it to the jurisdictions, we've sent it to VDOT, it's 290 million now. The refined cost estimate, you'll remember the initial one for option C was 200 and.
Well, you need to dig down into the cost estimates that you said that 212. Yes, there's other things. But yeah, but I was still waiting for comments back from.
But there've been changes since that first cost estimate to the design, right? So the filed projection now is 290 some million. And of course, once the NEPA process starts and they change the route, they change the design, then the cost estimate is going to change as well. So today, the cost estimate, and you know, this is a public meeting. Today, the cost estimate is 290 million. We can't say the final cost estimate actually because NEPA will change that.
You won't have a.
I was gonna say, just in standard, estimate practice, an estimate at this stage would be, you know, you have what they call the code of uncertainty, so you have a plus or minus fairly big range. So this is a cost estimate that was prepared without that. So this is gonna be a general number based on, kind of technical projects and lengths and that kind of thing. Not really refined to the specific elements that are within this project. And so, you know, again, I think those of us that are in this room probably are much more aware of that, but the folks that are maybe looking at the side not be. And so I don't know, as you kind of present this to folks, you've had a timeline of a project life cycle and to have like, we are all the way back. We are very, very. And that as you go forward, all kinds of things, you're starting to really point out that is, we're taking that big chunk of marble, we're trying to carve the statue out of that, we've got a whole lot to kind of take off before we get to that, you know, what that is. So I think those are some things that, whether we can share that with folks, so that they understand. And these are not by means final design or final estimates. Things.
Yeah,
As I said, I would,
everybody, the public tends to hate me because I keep telling them, don't panic yet. Too early to panic, right? So then they don't like me because they think I'm trying to hide something. I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm just trying to prevent hysteria about it's too close to my house. Well, it might not be. We don't know yet where it's going to be exactly. All we know is at the moment, Fampo's decided that they would like to have option C. That's what we know. And option C has a rough corridor. But in order to advance the funding, you have to have a drawing. So we required the consultant to produce a drawing, which you know is available. But it's just if we publish the drawing, then someone thinks this is the final design. And I know property owners who are large institutional developers, they're going to want to change it because they don't like it. Homeowners are going to want to change it because they don't like it. And all of that is part of another process at NEPA where you do this all again. So that I can make the policy committee packet happy to put the cost estimate in that we've got the revised one because it's detailed.
if that is the case, if it's possible, if there's any glaring errors or something that either jurisdiction of VDOT has, I would rather have y'all, because I mean, we are more informed, but we're not necessarily daily experts that are driving those documents. So any type of feedback, if there's an issue with, say, a missing turn lane or something, just let us know in advance. If that's possible, if the goal is to have it available. Any comments there, because we don't want to say, here it is, but no, we see an issue here, we need to go back and look at it. Because we need to have VDOT our jurisdiction partners and give us technical feedback.
I agree with John, Chairperson, when everybody's finished having their comments. If the TAC wants to make a recommendation that we must put out the drawing, we'll do that as well. But I want this to be a collective decision because when the public gets upset, we're all going to get the phone calls. So I think it's a good idea to put out the cost estimate at 290 million so that people understand what we're talking about. But with the sketch, it's up to you all whether we should put it out. We can, I have no objection, but it's just people get really antsy too early. And, you know, people from some of the communities got uptight with me when I told them it was too early. One woman came and was in tears in the public hearing and said horrible things about me because I told them that it's too early to get upset, you know. And even now it's too early to get upset. Option C is a rough corridor, and we have to wait to see if NEPA even endorses that corridor.
And the other hand, and the important part of this is that it's the draft final document that we're having. That's the important piece that we're looking for adoption, which is memorializing all the public comments, the traffic analysis, the environmental screening, the idea that we are more or less throwing out option D, and through the NEPA process, that option A, B, and C, they're all advancing and potentially other corridors identified during the NEPA process. And so we're actually, that's where we're drawing the line. We have a locally preferred corridor where we say option C is kind of our best option to pursue if we keep doing it, but it receives no additional favoritism or advantage in the next round of process. It starts at level 0 with everybody else.
The report is the thing we must adopt.
Yes.
The cost estimate and the drawing, it's sort of pointless adopting them because you're adopting this cost estimate. What does that mean? It's going to change. It's definitely going to change. I can promise you it's going to change. So what are you adopting really? You're adopting you should just adopt the fact that this is the thing we want. And we know that it might cost 290 million. The sketch is the same. There's no point adopting the sketch because it 100% guaranteed will change. Matthew already has a change that he's suggesting. So it's not going to be exactly the way it is. So we need to adopt the report. We can show the other documents because it's information. We don't need to adopt the sketch and we don't need to adopt the cost estimate because we need to first see whether there are going to be changes. I mean, we could adopt the sketch to send to the funding application if you want. But knowing that it's a tentative sketch, it's.
I would do that at the point where you're sending it out for whichever list of rounds of funding you're doing. That's when you.
All right, Matt.
I'll just make a few comments. One, I think you should make clear, and the way that I like to put it is, no cost estimate is final until after construction is complete. So that should be your headline, if you put out.
Absolutely.
In terms of the sketch, I do think it needs to be as transparent as possible. So it should be made public with the, headline being that this is an initial design, it will change. You just gotta kind of see what.
I wouldn't even call it an initial design, I think.
Yeah, that's a fair point. A concept sketch.
That's it. Good.
Because we do that for Smart Scale. Every project is a sketch. Every project in Smart Scale is pre-NEPA.
Does anybody have any other comment on the concept sketch?
One thing. Can't help us. It is helpful with these kind of NEPA actions, the list cost estimates at this stage. I think that's just gonna, because it gives the public better understanding of the order of magnitude of the $5 million project, but it's not a $5 billion project. Adopting a, down to the $100,000, it's not.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. Is
Yeah, what I do with our board presentation is I round everything. So with this magnitude, I round it 300 million. Just it.
the actual documents, we've gone to all your technical, the counties and the city and VDOT, so that you technically will have the detailed thing. I'll happily release it, but it's just, it's TBD at this stage.
Yeah,
And-
you don't need to release the PQ2 tool. I mean, people can look at it if they want, but that'll just confuse people. Your cost estimate is X amount with this amount of inflation.
So I should just,
Yeah,
That too.
And so that way, again, people understand that's in today's dollars, don't know when to be constructed, don't know when the money. They'll need to be related to whatever those be, so that's essentially significant.
so should I do a slide with that detail on instead of the detailed VDOT cost estimate thing?
so you could, so what usually happens is that PES sheet, just that headline sheet, you can put that out potentially, but it has no dates in there, so at this point.
Put a cover slide to explain it.
I've inflated 2015 color.
I will also say that that's is so that the cost estimate, you get rid of the page that's in shows the preliminary cost estimate for different options. So as they $3 million from the that seems to them.
I think that's why if we provide a range or an average figure that's close to what's in the report, I think that's important. So if you can add a slide with that information to your report, that way the information's at least disseminated, that would be great. Does anybody have any issue with that slide? Speak now. I don't want.
Okay, we can do that.
Okay, all right, great.
We are looking for recommendation to put it out for public comment though, because we do want to be transparent. We do
Sure.
want to give. And of course, you're all still reading it and giving your comments to us as well. But we'd like to open it up to public comments so that folks can write in and give us their input now as well.
So can I get a motion for the endorsement of the resolution for the public comment period?
Motion.
All right, thank you. Second? All right, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, all right, thank you.
Thanks, Chip. Thanks,
All right, next item is
members.
correspondence, GWRC Resolution 2604.
Chair, this is really just information. We've extended the on-call contracts with our 3 consultants for a further 1 year. However, we may not extend it again after that. So September next year, our current on-call contracts come to an end. I literally wrote those contracts when I came here in my first year. So now you know how long I've been here. The next, today is the last TAC meeting of my 5th year at FAMPO. So when you see me in November or December, I will be in my 6th year at FAMPO. So for those who don't like that so much, not such good news. For those who think I'm doing a good job, perhaps it's good news. I don't know, but this is my end of my 5th year. So these contracts I actually wrote. We need to do them again. We will be reaching out to VDOT about new draft. We're going to do an RFP process again and do the whole thing in January. So from January, Becky and I will start working on that. We'll send you drafts to review. We'll then put it out for call for proposals, and then eventually do some interviews. We'll again ask one or more of you to sit on a panel with FAMPO staff, GWRC staff, just to vet the proposals we get and eventually the applications. And then this committee and the policy committee will then make recommendations and eventually approve the people who will be our on-call contracts for the next 5 years. Well, we usually do 3 years with 2 one-year renewals. Anyway, just for information.
All right, next item is staff reports. We're gonna do 2 items for this discussion of the TAC meeting date and also discussion of the smart scale meeting.
Yes, if we can get those 2 dates sorted out. I don't know if Paul is still online, but there was a proposal to skip the November meeting and have December meeting. However, we have one little wrinkle, and that is that the policy committee meeting will meet only one time after the October meeting, and that is the November meeting. Anything we need to get approved at the November meeting needs to come from a recommendation from the TAC before the policy committee's November meeting. If not, you have to wait until the end of January to get your thing approved, right? So that does mean that if anything happens after today and we don't have a November TAC meeting, you're stuck with your thing until January. So if a tip item comes, there's no getting it approved until January, about the 18th or 19th or 20th, whatever that policy committee date is. With some of the proposed build grant applications, we're going to need to work on, for example, getting the river crossing study document adopted by the deadline for grant applications, which is cutting it quite fine. So my gut feel is that we should try to have a November TAC meeting before the policy committee meeting. However, I do understand folks who say, is it the Tuesday, the day after the proposed date for the November meeting is a holiday, I believe. So I do understand that wrinkle that, you know, you might take a long weekend and then we don't have a quorum, but we do need the TAC to decide. It's not up to FAMPO staff to decide. We'll put the meeting on whenever you think it should be on. And then we need to find a date for the subcommittee meeting as well, please.
All right. Does anybody have any additional comments on whether we have that November meeting? If you can pull up a calendar, that would be
Yes,
great.
please, Leader, if you can pull up a calendar for.
Madam Chair, can you hear me? I actually had a couple thoughts.
Go ahead, Paul.
So my thought is, could we meet on Monday, November 10th for the TAC?
Yeah, that could be done.
Isn't that kind of the same issue? Because veterans.
I'll be out of office that day.
Say that again, I can't hear you.
Is on Tuesday. It's kind of the same issue as the week before, right?
Yeah.
That people might take them off.
I can tell you I won't be here. Not that I'm sure.
Is still before.
Is our office open on the 4th?
Our office is not open on the 4th because it's an election day and our office is closed on the 11th for Indigenous Peoples' Day.
So there are 2 Tuesdays in a row.
Yes, there's 2
Correct.
Tuesdays in a row.
So whichever one we pick, it's gonna, I mean,
The 17th.
Matthew's
is
not
still
gonna
the
be-
working show.
Matthew's not gonna be on the 10th.
Policy committee the 17th?
I thought it
Correct.
was, oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was the 24th, my calendar is very tiny.
I mean, it is possible to, I'm not recommending this, but it is possible to do them both on the same day. Because you can make the recommendations in the morning and then they can adopt them in the evening. So that's doable. It's weird. We haven't done that before. And provided we have a quorum, and that's the key thing, you all need to be at whatever date you decide to have a meeting. We all need to be there. This shouldn't be the reason you make this decision, but I am going to be out on the 3rd. Which is a personal matter. I need to travel to Tennessee. So I won't be here, but I don't need to be here. Do you know that I have never missed a TAC meeting or a policy committee meeting in 5 years?
That's why we still want you for year 6.
5 years. I've never missed a TAC or policy committee meeting. The one I was sick, so I took it online, but I've been to every one. So if I miss one for the first time ever, I'm sure you'll survive.
Does anybody have any issue with having it on the 17th?
And
This is Paul, the 17th would be fine for me.
17th?
the key thing is if you say you don't have an issue, it means you're gonna be sitting here in this room on the 17th.
Well,
Oh, or you don't have your.
I'm not too worried about VDOT because you have got so many people that I'm sure others will be here.
All right, any other comments on the 17th? That way we can get rid of the 3rd and the 10th.
This is just the regular tag meeting, right?
That's the regular TAC meeting, 17th of,
So you'll just have to let your policy committee members know that if you're doing a report out, it might be in between or that day of the meeting.
And then Madam Chair will cancel the December TAC that's currently on this calendar.
Does anybody have any issue with canceling the December TAC?
we won't need it if we have the November. Right.
Okay.
Okay, then we just need to find a date for the Smart Scale Subcommittee meeting in October. Earlier is better. Sorry, are we in? Yes, October.
So we don't want to do it next week. So the week after next,
I assume this week is out.
is this week out?
Figured I'd try.
So the week of the 21st or the 20th, I will be either in Charlottesville or on a TNPD meeting for the 21st and 22nd.
Oh.
Days.
Are you out the whole week of the 13th?
This week then.
So today is the 6th, right? So if we look at this week and next week,
This week,
Yeah,
tomorrow after you.
okay, so no, please bring the calendar back. Don't move it anymore. Please bring it back.
If we were gonna skip the conference room.
We're not, please listen to me. We don't care about the conference room right now. We will find a venue.
Okay.
We just need to find a date. So can somebody propose a date that will work?
Does 9th work for anybody or Matt?
Thursday the 9th?
I was gonna say Tuesday.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow. Wait, are you, the same problem we ran into?
Yeah, you
So
are.
this is,
Has
Paul,
to be-
the 9th does not work for me.
Friday.
Uh,
We could do Friday, but not before Friday because we have to have 3 days of public notice.
Unless you put it out today, it could be 3rd. That's not 3 days.
I can't do Friday.
I won't be here Friday.
So next week, or the week after.
Next week Carrie's not here.
Yeah,
The week of the 20th.
So
What about Wednesday, the 15th?
Carrie won't be
Carrie's out
here.
next.
Out the entire.
So the week of the 20th looks like is the first,
Monday, the
Week.
20th.
Yeah.
Morning of Monday, yeah.
On Monday, the 20th, I have a start study meeting at 11, and then we've got a project pipeline meeting at 1 o'clock.
Can we make it after the pipeline meeting? Make it a later meeting, how long do you want this meeting to last?
We have like a.
You can probably do an hour and a half before.
Can we do it before at like 9?
Yeah, we do it
What time is your first pipeline meeting?
We got representation.
Yeah.
So.
if anything, I can ask Linda to cover it or something.
And
if
I
I
think Brian should be there as well, so we've got.
What time's your first meeting?
11,
Yeah, if we meet at 9,
then we have to be done before 11.
yeah, well, we can get the important stuff done by 10:30 and make sure that anything that is going to be a recommendation to the TAC we've dealt with.
20 work for you, Paul?
What's that?
No,
That was Paul.
I know it does not.
I don't know what he said.
It all doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work.
So this would be the 23rd then.
Can you, everybody check October the 23rd?
22nd?
I'm
Okay,
gonna
do it.
go on the 21st and 22nd.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So who's out on the 23rd?
And then I'm gonna be teleworking that day. 'cause
Is-
that's their teacher.
Is the 29th okay?
24th?
I can do the 24th.
24th?
The 24th can work.
Oh, you are.
Okay, I can skip.
24th is wide open for me.
I can do the 24th.
Can we do the 24th,
Oh,
people?
maybe I can't, but I don't know. It doesn't matter. Josh can do it.
The key people that need to be here are the 3 jurisdictions and VDOT.
Josh, can you do the 24th?
Yes, wide open.
Okay.
I would suggest the 24th. After that, it's getting very late.
All right, so October 24th at what time? 9, 9:30,
10,
10?
9, doesn't matter.
24th at 10 o'clock? All right, that will be the time. Thank you.
And if somebody has a accident and can't make it, we're gonna go ahead anyway, because we need to get,
Find a venue.
we will find a venue, that's not. Now. So this venue is open on the 24th at 10 AM and we'll book it today. Thanks, Lida.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. All right,
Great.
awesome. Everybody good? Everybody alive? All right, great.
Can I make a recommendation?
Yes,
Carrie, I would recommend sort of working on scheduling the second meeting.
Oh, yeah. Although as late as this meeting's gonna be.
I know.
November. Do you want
So
to pick
this
the
is
November
all-
meeting now, or do you want to do it at?
Now.
Okay, we'll send you a doodle poll for a December, sorry, a November
And December.
smart scale meeting.
schedule them both.
Go and schedule.
We'll schedule them both on a doodle poll. Thank you, Chair.
All right, next item, bill grants, Ms. Becky.
Hey, Paul had a question.
Paul?
Well, the
you
only
have a
other
question?
comment I wanted to make is we're gonna have a TAC meeting in December. Could we hold that
No.
date for the Smart Scale meeting? No, I.
Or
didn't say I
suggesting
wanted-
that we have the
I
smart
did
scale
not
meeting
say that I wanted a
at the
TAC
time we
meeting.
were
I
gonna
said we
have the
could-
TAC meeting in December.
That makes sense.
Good sense.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
so could we do the Smart Scale meeting on December 1st?
Yeah,
Was that the date we were gonna do the TAC meeting?
it's a Monday.
Sure, go ahead and send that out. Yes, that's the plan, Paul.
Okay,
Sounds good.
December the 1st.
Cool, now you just gotta find November.
Yep, now you just have to do November.
Oh, we might not need November.
No, all right.
Let's get it.
Live in this room and you
All
let.
right,
me know
so
When there's a.
So follow up, Carrie will follow up on November. We'll
Yeah.
meet on the TAC meeting date for December 1st.
Correct.
So those are the dates. that we-
That should give us sufficient meetings to get the ground. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, outstanding. Becky?
We're building, plans.
I'm good.
I think
Sure,
it's
I got a new hip.
10 o'clock.
Yeah,
Yep, 10 o'clock.
All right, Becky.
We've done some research on bill grant opportunities. This was formerly the RAISE program. And we expect the notice of funding opportunity to be late in October, early November. Last year's deadline was the last date of January. There's a $25 million maximum annual award. Each applicant may apply for 3 per year, and it's okay to apply for subsequent phases. Project. 100% grant funding is available, no local match. unless the project is in the Stafford TMA.
Say that again. Becky, say that again. I don't think I can hear you from.
100% grant funding, no local match, except projects in the Stafford transfer.
So what are their conditions?
20% local match. And then some programs have a credit where if you do certain things, like the Protect Grant program, if you had a resiliency plan approved, I think you could do 10%. That's the program.
So this is very good news for our region, and we've not focused as much on these grants before. I know that Stafford and Spotsy have each done individual applications before, but as a region, we've not focused as much on this, and I don't think everybody was that clear on the fact that we are designated as rural and therefore have no match. I think this is something we've only recently grasped.
Next slide. We're still in the discussion phases, particularly with our partners at VDOT, but the delivery model that we're able to manage is that we would be the grant recipient and the applicant. Then we're meeting with, we've met with locality staff to discuss proposals, continue those discussions. And then we're meeting with VDOT to discuss implementation plan. Next slide. We had 3 suggested bill grant projects subsequent to this agenda going out. The Caroline County project, we had reports that there were parts of US 17 that flooded during just normal rainfall events. Did some investigation, and there is a stretch of 17 that's in a FEMA modeled floodplain. That is not the location, however, of the frequent flooding. And during last Wednesday's Caroline County Transportation Committee meeting, they decided not to recommend moving forward with a planning grant to analyze the Route 17 FEMA floodplain area. The area that floods very frequently can be handled with potential maintenance crews and a right of entry. So they also were not interested in the potential solution that would be to breach a farm pond. That pond is used for duck habitat, hunting and fishing. So there is not the political will to move forward with that project. So we're down to 2 of the 3 potential that we have. Met with Spotsylvania County and the Harrison Road interchange with I-95, bundled with the I-95 widening and Harrison Road widening. And then the Fampo River Crossing Bridge and Parkway to take that into the NEPA and preliminary engineering phases. We've looked at past raise and build grant awards, and these would both be considered planning grants that could move forward over subsequent years in $25 million increments.
So you guys are looking just to do some study work for both of those?
Yes, this would.
So,
go ahead.
yeah, NEPA and P&E. So
Okay.
you get some engineering done.
You can move up to like 30 years.
Yeah, so that's the idea. We're hoping with 25 million you can do NEPA and preliminary engineering.
And I haven't done too much into my understanding. You did, so I think the planning and the capital project.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think if once you are looking to acquire right of way, construction, you could do everything in the second one, but the first one would be up to that.
Right. And the Harrison interchange would be probably a interchange justification report. And then again, kind of bundled with these other projects that impact that.
So the other thing to note is that this grant is also great for another reason. You can apply for a second grant for the same project to go into land acquisition, right of way, and then construction. So it doesn't, just because you got a grant this round, doesn't mean you can't apply for another grant on the same project, but for a different phase. They allow multiple phases for a particular project, which is really nice.
In fact, as you've looked at the awards from the previous ones for the planning level, do you know some of the typical award values?
Yes, I looked at the utilized the recent construction cost estimate for the bricks and mortar, the rocks and dirt part of the river crossing. And it appeared that a very similar project, that about 11% of construction was the NEPA and preliminary engineering phase. And they also looked to me like they encourage, I think this will be a strategy as we build the application, to have discrete chunks that need to be done in order so that they can make a partial award. So if we work together, add up the total to be 23 million, but have a discrete and chronological pathway that they would be able to easily, or, you know, as a grant award individual, say, okay, we'll give you this, you know, these two chunks, and maybe not the whole enchilada.
Becca, is the construction portion 25 million also, or there?
25 million per year, depending on, like let's say, these two would be new planning grants. We also were advised last week that our Safe Streets and Roads for All FY24 application, we did not get offered it.
Oh, no, that's not true.
Okay.
Please, please, please. I don't want you talking.
Okay.
This particular project, they always ask you, for some reason, they do this every round. They ask you if you'll accept a partial award, and then they wait for your answer. So we don't know what they're going to award at this stage. All we know is that they've asked us if we will accept a partial award for the last Safe Streets for All grant, and we're going to give them a response. We don't know yet what their decision will be.
All right, any other questions about the build grant applications? All right, thank you. All right, updates from agencies and localities, agenda item number 9. Do we have any updates from agencies? VDOT, any updates?
Projects, any projects that are stalled or about to start? Or...
Same 4 projects are under construction, under budget, on time.
Okay, VDOT's not building anything?
Sorry.
Not starting anything?
We offered and we've not gotten like so we're still short staffed. If anyone knows some engineers looking for some jobs. As far as the projects underway, the 64 client project, so that one in Stafford County, that's getting ready to be sent down for advertisement. So that should be advertised soon, and then we'll get that road fully back open. We are still looking at the house to find that currently, 2 weeks ago to look for some more options. And then we talked to some different things as well. Some other big ones right now. We're in the midst of our paving schedules. Those all down, so that.
The 2 small scale projects on Route 2 Tidewater Trail, what phase of that are we in at the moment? I know you've had some public meetings and things have happened. I'm not sure.
Right, so we still in the design phase, so our next big milestone of we get to Brent Lake, and that's still a little ways out, so we're trying to work out some of the details. There's a lot of things going on in that whole road to coordinate with. So there was a couple of site visits and meetings about those questions to make. That one is outside Glenn's way, so that one's just getting kicked off. So it did not start the same.
Thanks. One final question. The US 1 Bridge Rehabilitation Project, what phase of that are we in?
So we are trying to get stage 1 wrapped up. And so that was for them to do an evaluation of the existing structure and make recommendations. So they have made some with their evaluation and district cost level, look at what they are proposing as being, solutions to that.
Great.
So we hope to come to resolutions here from the whole team.
Thanks very much.
And maybe you can't answer this right now because it just came out, but any updates on DPE requirements?
I do not have any specific updates. I do know that there have been some emails that have gone out, but if you reach out to me, that's the person instead of to give you updates.
All right, any other updates, comments?
Just gonna say Clifton Day is this Sunday. You guys are interested, it's a fun family friendly festival in town of Clifton, Fairfax. We take BRE, the only other Saturday of the year, right, BRE is now, or Sunday rather. And you pick up the train at Broadway.
So BRE is taking a train up on a Sunday for the festival.
Yes, we have every year for the past.
All right, so a reminder, our next meeting is not on November 3rd, so don't show up.
And we have a new staff person, Kyle Guzman, to introduce.
Yes.
Project manager.
Kyle?
Yep, glad to have him on board.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah.
Hopefully this meeting was very thrilling and exciting. You didn't fall asleep, so.
There you go.
All right. Motion to adjourn?
Our meetings are fun.
Thank you.
All right, go home. Bye. Gotta go to work.
Thanks,